Are you feeling stuck with your OET speaking preparation? You know, like you have been practicing for weeks, maybe even months, and you just feel like you have hit a wall. Well, if that sounds familiar, you are exactly in the right place. We are about to uncover the single biggest mistake that so many candidates make, and more importantly, how you can fix it. I really want you to let this sink in because this is probably the most important idea for your entire preparation. Most candidates are not failing because their English is bad, they are failing because they are practicing the wrong way. So if you have been frustrated with your progress, just take a deep breath. The problem likely isn't your language level, it is your method. Alright, so first things first, let's actually identify the problem, right? We're going to take a look at the most common habits that are not only wasting your time, but could be actively hurting your score on exam day. And here they are, the top 3 time wasters. First up, memorizing scripts and answers, hoping that one perfect sentence will somehow save you. Second, chasing after so called advanced or complex English to try and impress the examiner, which, trust me, will almost always backfires. And third, practicing ineffectively. Just trying to talk to yourself. You might feel busy, but you are not actually building the real communication skills you need. And this right here, this is exactly why memorizing is so incredibly dangerous. The exam is interactive, it's a real conversation. A role player can ask you an unexpected question at any time. And if you are just relying on script, that is the moment you freeze up. The test isn't about memory, it is about real time flexible communication. Let's have a look at it this way. Focusing on scripts is like building a house of cards. It's fragile. It can shatter under the slightest bit of pressure. But if you are focusing on learning communication functions, things like how to show empathy or how to check for understanding, you're building a flexible toolkit that can adapt to absolutely any situation. Okay, so if memorizing perfect sentences is a bad idea, what is the alternative? This is where we need to shift our focus. It is time to get inside the examiner's head and understand what they are actually looking for. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with complex grammar. So, the first question an examiner is subconsciously asking is this: can this candidate build a rapport? Can they create a professional, trusting connection that makes the patient feel heard and, respected? Second, they are wondering, can this candidate structure the consultation in a clear way? They are listening for a logical flow. A chaotic, all over the place conversation just feels unsafe. A structured one projects confidence and competence. Question 3 is a huge one. Can this candidate explain medical information safely and clearly? This means taking complex medical details and making them simple. OET reward clarity, not complexity. Simple, clear English will always score higher. And finally, number 4. Are you actually listening? When the patient expresses a fear or asks a question, how do you respond? Do you just ignore it and move on with your script? Or do you acknowledge their feelings and address their concerns directly? This is a huge test for your interactive skills. If you only take one thing away from our video today, please let it be this. The OET speaking test is a clinical communication exam. It is not an English performance exam. The moment you truly understand this distinction, I promise you, your entire approach to preparation is going to change for better. So now that we know what not to do, and we know exactly what the examiners are looking for, let's build a better system. It is time to replace those old flawed habits with a clear, effective structure that will actually lead to success. So instead of trying to memorize lines, you're going to use a structure. The 6 step framework is your new blueprint. And the great thing is, it works for every single healthcare profession. You open, you show empathy, you explore, you explain, you check for understanding, and you close safely. If you follow these steps, you will always be in control. And here is why this is so incredibly powerful. When you are in control of the structure, you project confidence, you project competence. This makes the examiner feels like you are a safe practitioner. And when the examiner feels safe, your score goes up. It's a direct correlation. So, theory is great, but let's actually see how this works in real life. We're going to move into a practical demonstration so we can see how this 6 step structure can be applied in a real OET style roleplay. Now, as we go into this short demo, I want you to notice one important thing. I am not memorizing anything. I'm not trying to remember specific words. I'm simply following the structure to communicate with clarity and empathy. That is the whole key. So, here is our scenario. The role is a doctor. The patient has a poorly controlled diabetes and is really worried about long term complication. On my method, I'm just following the structure. That's it. Not a script. Just watch how it guides the conversation naturally.
Hello, my name's Dr. Andrew. I understand you've come in today because you're concerned about your diabetes, is that right?
Yes, I've been feeling worried because my sugar levels have been high recently.
I can imagine this has been worrying for you, especially if you've been noticing changes in your health.
Yes, exactly. I'm scared it might cause serious problems in the future.
Before we go into the details, could you tell me what you already know about diabetes and what you're most concerned about right now?
I know it has something to do with sugar in the blood, but I don't really understand it fully. I'm mostly worried about my eyes and kidneys because I've heard diabetes can damage them.
Thank you for sharing that. Let me explain this step by step. Diabetes is a condition where the body has difficulty controlling the level of sugar in the blood. When blood sugar stays high for a long time, it can affect different parts of the body, such as the eyes, kidneys, and nerves.
I see. I didn't realize it could affect so many parts of the body.
Does that make sense so far?
Yes, that's much clearer now.
I want to reassure you that many people with diabetes live healthy lives when the condition is managed properly. The important thing is that we work together to control your blood sugar levels.
That's good to hear. I was worried it was already too late.
We'll look at your medication, diet, and daily routine, and I'll support you through each step.
Thank you, Doctor. That really helps.
Before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to ask or clarify? If you think of any questions later, please don't hesitate to let me know.
No, thank you for explaining everything so clearly.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to make sure you have the tools to actually implement this system yourself. So I have created a free resource that breaks down everything we have talked about today into a simple, actionable guide. You can download this free PDF that summarizes the entire system, including that 6 step structure with examples. You can use it during your own practice sessions. It's really designed to remove all that confusion and help you practice with a clear intention, which will save a huge amount of time. So let us just quickly recap the 3 key changes you need to make. First, please stop memorizing scripts. Secondly, always prioritize clarity over complexity. And thirdly, practice interaction with another person using that clear 6 step structure. That is your path to a higher score. So I will leave you with this final question. Looking at that 6 step structure, what is the single one step that you will focus on in your very next practice session? Don't try to master them all at once, just pick one and start there. Thank you very much for joining me.